Hello! How's it going, everyone? So, just an impromptu video here. I was in the process of some work stuff. I'm going to meet my wife for lunch at 1 o'clock, so I gotta leave here at like 12:45. If any of you watching right now see that I'm still rambling at like 12:45, be like, hey Rob, your wife will kill you if you don't pick her up for lunch here by 1 o'clock. So yeah, I figured I got some time. I wanted to do a little video and say what's up. I got a couple things politically to talk about, but there's something more important that I wanted to do first. Thank you, Ramon. You and Drone, I thought me and Drone Tech did a fine job. I really did. I could talk a little about that debate if that's what people want. This show is going to be all about the audience and whatever they want to talk about. I got a couple suggestions, but really looking to interact with the chat today, so please let me know what's up. So I hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. I have a fun wedding to go to tomorrow. It'll be a really good one, so I'm excited about that. And I'm trying really hard to start selling life insurance. So please, if you're in Pennsylvania and you just want to talk to someone about life insurance, please let me know. If you're not in Pennsylvania, also let me know. I'll get my license just for your state, for my supporters to help out. So try not to be broke the rest of my life. So what's up, the one who D-Lives? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone else. So I want to do something at the start of this that I am a horrible person for not doing, and that is give some special shout outs to people that support me regularly. And I want to start with the people on Patreon that are my patrons. So I have 5 patrons right now, and I think each and every one of them deserve a special shout out. Only one of these 5 do I know pre my YouTube and pre my internet content creation. So I want to give them all shout out. So first is someone that you see on D-Live a lot, which is Pasty Gangsta. Thank you so much to Pasty Gangsta for being a great Patreon. I really appreciate it. Second, who's been my oldest Patreon supporter, who is Kenneth942. Thank you so much, Kenneth. I've had some great conversations with you. You've been supporting me since December 19th, 2019. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. It's gone a long way, and you've been incredibly, not only my oldest supporter, but also donates the most to me every month. So, unbelievably generous of you. Thank you so much. The next person is someone that you've seen a lot if you watch my channel, who's Killer Kyle. A lot of times you see him on YouTube commenting, so thank you so much, Killer Kyle. I really appreciate it. Fantastic. Between you and Kenneth, you were a large part which helped me get the actual first microphones that I've been using. So my camera's been the same, I had it, but the first upgrade in microphone I got was largely due to Kenneth and Killer Kyle's donation. So thank you so much for that. That's the reason that I don't always have the worst audio. I'll talk just in a quick second about audio and video quality going to increase here in the next week or two, so I'll get to that in a second. The next person is John Gilmore, who's been with me since August 6, 2020. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, each and every one of you are fantastic. No matter how much you could give to me, I really appreciate it. The last person is my friend in real life, Bill. Bill's the man. Bill also just sent me this, which I'm just started reading, which hopefully I'll be able to give a summary of this book to you. And it's about how critical race theory and these critical theories are damaging our country. So it's called Cynical Theories. I really hope to read that and help buttress my knowledge the next time you see me debating intersectionality and things like that. So thank you to every one of those patrons. You have no idea how much it means to me. I'm very, very humbled that you would want to donate to me. Also, I'll put the link up to my Patreon if you want to donate. I really do appreciate all donations. Look, again, I'm broke. I've always been broke. I'm now going to be a father, and I'm transitioning to a different job that's commission only. Now, let me say this. I will do this show no matter what. If I never get a dime, I'll still do the show. It just, the more I get, the more I can put into the show quality-wise, the more time I can put into the show and things like that. So thank you so much. D. Gulag, thank you for being here. Charles Kelly, thank you so much. So thanks to those 5 patrons. I put a link to my Patreon up on the chat there, so if anyone wants to donate to me through that way, they can. I'm going to start, if you're one of those patrons that are watching, again, thank you so much. I apologize I haven't done more for you in the past, but I'm going to start doing special things just for my Patreon followers, like video live streams that's just them, so we can just have a conversation that's going on. What's up, Janet? Thanks for being here. So thank you so much to all those patrons. I'd also want to give a special shout out to every single person that's donated to me. A lot of you I miss. I can't see the donations live as they're occurring on D Live because of... You all see now how I have the chat set up on the right side of my screen? That's all I see. So I could see a super chat will come up for YouTube, but for D Live and Twitch and Periscope, it won't. So I apologize if I ever miss anyone, but thank you to anyone who donates on any of those platforms. It really means a lot to me. I truly mean that. Now, if you can't donate financially, there's two things you could do. One, if you need life insurance, that would help me out, and I would be able to talk to you about that, particularly if you're in Pennsylvania, as I already said. The other thing is, I'm broke. I don't know. There's commentators I would love to donate to, but because I'm broke, there's other ways you could help out. You could like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please, 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 if you can only check one other platform, please follow me on D Live. 100% of the money you donate to me on D Live, it's a cryptocurrency. It goes directly to me, unlike YouTube that takes a percentage, unlike Patreon that takes a percentage. So follow me on D Live. They're not going to censor me. I would really appreciate it. But I'm on Normal America D Live, Normal America with Throb Noor on Twitch and then YouTube. So try to follow me in those platforms and maybe recommend me to some other people. The last thing is, if you ever wanted to send me a book, I had my friend Preacher in my new office that's upstairs. There's a huge American flag backdrop that was donated by my friend Preacher. So if you want to send me money or you want to send me something that you think would be a nice gift or something that I should look at, if you reach out to me in the comment section, I will send you my P.O. box. For obvious reasons, I don't want to just broadcast that to everyone. But yeah, I'll give you my P.O. box, and you could send me something through P.O. box. So if you wanted to send a check and you didn't want YouTube to get part of that or something like that, you could do it through that. The Bear Chair says, trying to get in conservative commentary. Can you explain how? Sure, I'll give you a little bit of advice. Yeah, I do have a baby coming, and it's going to be crunch time. Yeah. I don't know about your recent story in public school. Bear Share, so some advice on getting into conservative commentary. First off, you're coming to the exact wrong person. Because although I think that I enjoy my content, I think that my content's unique. Most importantly, it's authentic. It's who I really am. But I don't have a lot of followers. So I don't advertise myself well. There are people that have tricks. Not tricks, that's not the right word, but they're skilled in that. They're skilled at getting viewers. That's not something that I am. I'm trying to learn and get better on that end like everyone else. But if I could just give a little bit of advice, the number one thing, if you want to get into any type of content creation, I don't care if it's politics, if it's conservative, liberal, to me, as an audience member, the number one thing that I want to see is someone who's authentic and unique. So I don't, you shouldn't be looking at someone saying, I want to sound like them. Just be honest, and even if, particularly politically, I would rather watch a show that I was like, yeah, this is an authentic point of view, that disagrees with me, than a show that agrees with me, but you're like, I don't know, is this person just playing a character? So that's my advice, just be authentic. And I say this all the time. Don't think, sometimes people will say like, oh, well, it just seems like people are so more well-read or they know so much more than me when it comes to these issues, so I don't feel like my opinion matters. That's not true whatsoever. Oftentimes, people I know that think they have no interest in politics say things that end up being relevant to politics better than I could ever say them. Like, my stepfather-in-law, who's a truck driver. You would not believe the things he says just in his line of work that I'm like, wow. Like, how insightful is this? So, that would be my advice. Yeah, unique, I try to be. Thank you, Janet. I'm glad you love watching me debate people. I'm going to do more of that, and I'm getting better at that. So, let me just briefly talk about debate. I was a really good debater, but when I debated in college, that's what I was doing. I had time to prepare. I would say 95% of the debates that you all have seen me do in the past year, I had maybe 15 minutes of preparation, unique to the debate. And that's because I work so much and I have so much going on in my life. Basically, almost every show I do is just flying by the seat of my pants, and that includes the debates. So many times I'll be debating people that have prepped all week. I don't think I've purported myself badly in any of the debates. There are some that I wish I could have done better at, but I think that, obviously I'm biased, but I think that I came out in the upper hand in every one of the debates I've done. Some more than others. But yeah, there are other things stylistically that I'm trying to do, like trying to remain more even keel. I think that you saw, if you watched the last debate I did, despite the fact people were calling me mother effers and saying they wanted to sleep with my mom and things like that, I didn't reciprocate. I just sat there calmly and was like, okay, that's fine. If you want to get to the real issues, we'll talk about them. But so I'm trying to get better with that stuff. Right, BearShare. Yeah, and I think D-Live's a good platform to get started. BearShare, go ahead and send me, send me a, I'll put my email up here for you. And Bear Share, if you want to send me an email, I'll try, like, maybe you could come on my show someday if you start a channel, and we could have a conversation, and then we'll promote your show. That would be fine. Again, there are better people to do that to me. I don't have a big following. Like, I have 18 people watching right now, so. But to me, it depends on why you want to get into content creation, too. I didn't get into it to make money. I don't care. I'm now trying to, like, my computer that I'm using now costs $1,300. I would say in my channel combined, I probably have $2,500 wrapped up in equipment, services that I bought, such as Zoom subscriptions, things like that. So I probably, podcast subscription, which I haven't even been doing. I need to do better at that. But, yeah, so that's why I asked for donations and stuff, trying to recoup my losses into the channel. But, you know, if you're getting into the channel as a source of income, I have no advice for you. That's not what I do. Many of the decisions I've made on my channel have cost me subscribers and have cost me actual people that donate money to me. But I told myself, look, I want to be a politician someday. If I can't even have a YouTube channel because I'm afraid someone won't send me $5 if I criticize Trump or if I say the wrong thing, what kind of politician would I be? I'd be a sellout like that. So, you know, my advice is, I got into content creation because I thought that I had a voice. I wanted to be a voice for average people to try, because I'm lucky, and, you know, I'm lucky that I have an understanding, just my brain works and looking at politics and stuff like that, and I enjoy doing it. I know the people I love most in life hate looking at politics. And so I just wanted to show where I could explain things to them. Like, look, this is, for me, this is how I see it in a way that makes sense to normal people, and to try to be a voice for them. That's why I got involved in politics and content creation. So, you know, take it for what it is. Okay, one to get down makes, and by the way, I don't mind, criticism's good too, so I enjoy this part of criticism. One to get down says, I like listening to you, but you speak so fast, it gets tiring following. I just like a bit more mellow talk. That's a fair criticism. Let me read something to you. So I did college debate, and in college debate, this is how a debate might sound. I'll read what you might call a piece of evidence. So we'll just go to the website that I watched. Just bring up an article. It doesn't matter what. So it would be something like this. This is how it would go. It would say, authored by Noor bin Laden of the Spectator. Americans are, in my experience, the warmest, most kind-hearted, open-minded people in the world. I find this to be true. The whole life of Osama bin Laden, the same, albeit spelled differently, made original translation, American based on judgment, some character and actions not together to skin the last name reaffirmed last month when they heard of the American support for President Donald Trump, the letter to America, overwhelmingly wonderful, and most of those thankful people tend to run even messages as Spectator, but my private life, I had so-called friends for backing Donald Trump over the years come out publicly as a step too far to vitriol instead of the political beliefs unflattering both sides, certain character from social standpoint, and interested in deciding the elite to pro-Trump's causing more grief than being named bin Laden. So that's how you're taught to speak in debate, and I know that's incredibly stupid. The problem is, I did that for so long, it's hard for me to talk in a normal pace now. Because I trained myself to talk like that. And so, and your criticism is exactly right. You're absolutely right. I talk too fast. I do. One of the things I could recommend is I need to get better at that, and I will try to do that. But it might, if you're watching this not live, if you watch on YouTube, you could lower the speed to 0.75, and that might help. And maybe I'll sound more mellow or something like this then. But another criticism that I've got, and this is a fair criticism too, is I have this whiny, high-pitched sounding voice when I get excited. I'd probably sound better if I just talk like this the whole time. Look, I think this coup against Donald Trump is outrageous. We need to do something in this country, or else our entire political system is going to be overran by unelected bureaucrats, which would literally be the end of our democratic republic. That probably sounds better, but I don't want to be inauthentic, so what you see is what you get. But yeah, fair criticism. I hear you, Bear Share. Well, like I said, you're always welcome to come on my show, and it's tough to get started. It is. I mean, again, I have 22 people watching right now. I've been doing this for over 3 years. I would do live streams with 1-2 people watching, 4-hour live streams. 1 or 2 people watching. If you're doing it because, you know, for me, it's like, that's fine. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to be a celebrity. I was doing it because I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. And if even one person wanted to listen, I thought that was pretty cool. So, right, yeah. Someone that looks like a retired Jewish sumo fighter will never be a politician. I'll take that as a compliment. What's up, Jojo? Jojo's my brother in real life, for those of you who don't know. Yeah, when I talk fast and scream like Sam Kinison, yeah. The micromanagement. Believe it or not, and I know you're not going to believe this, but if you ask, next time I have someone on that was in the debate community with me, I was considered very slow in the debate community, and I was. So, yeah, there were people that were way faster than that. And I have always been loud, yeah. Explain my political position. That's kind of what the whole show does. I am not Jewish, no. I got to be honest with you, it's never something I've been too concerned with. I know I'm part Italian. I know I'm a mutt. I got a bunch of different mixes. Allegedly that my grandma was like 1/4 Blackfoot Indian. I don't know or care. Like, my genetic makeup means nothing to me whatsoever, so I don't know. I've never really looked into it. But no, I'm not Jewish. As far as religious-wise, I would consider myself a non-denominational Christian. I don't go to church. I just believe in being Christ-like. I don't take the Bible literally or anything like that. I think that we should try to tell the truth and be good people. That's it. I did see that story, Jojo, that Yelp's going to mark businesses racist if someone alleges that a business is racist, Yelp will put a special tag on them that says they're racist. Ironically, I then read an article from Texas saying that a bunch of Yelp employees accused the company of operating with misogyny and racism. So I wonder if Yelp will give themselves the racist label. Can you do going once, going twice? So 4 more years. I hope 4 more years, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what... I would guess I'm Anglo. I don't know. I know this sounds stupid. My brother's on here. Jesse, do you know? I know we're part Italian, but that's obvious from looking at Dad. But I think both me and my brother will say it never really concerned us. I never looked into it. I don't know, like, what my genetic makeup is. I agree with that magnetic field disruptor. The Constitution was to enslave the government, because if you don't enslave it, it will enslave you. Yeah, I don't know I would use those exact words, but that's the thrust of the truth. Right. The founders understood that they were trying to have the most constraint. The reason, there's a video on my, in fact, let me just bring this up. So I wish this would get more views. I did this video a long time ago, and it's kind of kudos to my friend Anthony Cherby that edited this for me. I think it's a fantastic video. It doesn't get any play. I thought more people would have watched it. But, oh boy. Let me bring it up. It's 7 minutes. We'll see what you all think. I'll play it. Oh boy. Why is it? Give me 1 second. Maybe? This is ridiculous. Well, it's not going to happen. But if you go, there's it should be like the intro video on my no, for crying out loud. Forget it. But it should be the intro video where I say that the reason the United States is the greatest country in the history of the world is it was the first country that's foundational documents were focused on the importance of the individual. So all countries before that were like, oh, we have a monarch, and it's the ideas of the king, or it's a collectivism. It's the ideas of this class of people. The United States was the first country that really sought to codify that the backbone of a country was the individual. And basically, government's role was to take care of some things, like some infrastructure things, national security things, printing of money, that an individual couldn't do. But other than that, leave the individual alone. And if you do that, your country will prosper more as a group, because by maximizing individual liberty, you maximize people's effectiveness, which then ends up making the entire whole better. That's why the United States is the greatest country in the world. So I have a video explaining that, but Let's see. Protestant, I don't know, yeah. Take the ancestry test. I don't want to give my DNA to government officials, if I'm honest with you. You got kicked out of your live session because you brought up that women abuse more. Well, there's different types of abuse, but yeah, I mean, there's physical abuse that comes from women directed towards men that's often not talked about, but it's actually quite common. The difference is, it seems like women probably, don't quote me on this, but it seems like women, I don't know if they abuse men more or similar amounts, but it seems like it's less severe. So like when a man attacks a woman, it usually ends up being more severe. But there's other types of abuse, like psychological abuse and things like that. Yeah, there's a conversation to have. It's not my forte. That's why I choose to not look at things like in a binary position, just saying like, oh, when men are oppressors and women are the oppressed. That's critical race theory, cultural Marxist garbage. I hate that sort of identity politics. Pete, what's up, man? So yeah, for those of you who don't know, please consider checking out my friend Pete the Patriot's page, or his channel. I know you have a YouTube channel, and it looks like you probably have a D-Live channel as well. Pete is fantastic. You'll get from him, I think that one of the things he does best is he interacts with his audience better than any content creator I've ever seen. If you put something in the chat on Pete's channel, there's a good chance that if you have a question, he's going to respond to it. He does far better at that than I do, and he's graciously welcomed me. I'm going to be doing a video with him, I think, next Monday on his channel. So yeah, check that out. It should be a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks for showing up, Pete. Really appreciate it. Kendall says, skill set, debate, and critical thinking is needed, especially in the college level, to speed up the takedown of the left. I agree. And that's why people ask me, for example, understand, when I was in the debate community, I was one of the only conservatives in that community. I could count the number of people on my hand in the debate community out of thousands that voted for Trump. It just, to be far right in the debate community meant you were a centrist. Like Joe Biden would be considered far right in the debate community. It was nothing to walk into debate rounds and say, you're white, you should die. And I've done videos on the debate community, so I won't spend a lot of time on it. But when people ask, why did I do that? Or why do I go on Twitch? Why do I do debates on Twitch? Where every single, for example, when I debated, the biggest Twitch streamer that I debated was Destiny. Destiny, while I debated him, had 4,000 something people watching live. Every one of them that were doing one of two things. Saying that I'm a horrible, evil person for being a Republican, or just insulting me because I'm fat or my beard was unshaved or whatever. That's it. Like, that was 95% of his audience. So why would I put myself through thousands of people doing that? Well, because I'm not afraid to. And because I think that I have an ability to do it, and because I think that I'm right. And you will never convince people on the other side that you're not a monster if you're unwilling to talk to them. Now, am I naive? Do I think, oh, I debated that person and 1,000 of his followers were like, yeah, Rob did good? No. But maybe 5 did. Maybe 10 did. And who would I be if I believe in free speech. I believe in listening to people even I disagree with. So I'm not going to reciprocate the idea that they want censorship. They want to stop certain viewpoints. That's not me. So I'm willing to talk to them. I am. And I'm not going to back down. That doesn't mean I'm always right. I'm also have an open mind. Maybe they'll convince me of something. I know I'm not always right, but that's why I do that. And people tell me all the time, why do you do these debates? It's worthless. It's clear that they're not even trying to listen to you. I know. But you get to see that, right? And that's the other thing that's important. Maybe, yeah, the average Twitch communist, I'm not going to change their mind. And maybe that's 80% of the people that are watching. But when someone that's a normal person, I don't want to say normal as if they're abnormal, when someone who's not involved in that ideology looks at this debate, they could go, my God, look how extreme those people are. Look how angry they are. Look at how every other word out of their mouth's an insult. Look at how they just deny reality. Yeah, Jojo, you're right. That whole time, that person, he just kept saying F you and, you know, that's what your mom said. I guess, if that's, keep in mind, that was the person who asked for that debate, by the way. Like, I did that debate because someone said, I would like to debate Russia collusion. I said, sure, I'll do it. And then their contribution to the debate was saying your mom the whole time. So, I don't know. If that's what you want to do, yeah, Destiny's a good debater, though, D. Gulag. And let me say this about Destiny. I have nothing but kind things to say about him as how he treated me. Yeah, we got a little heated in the debate and we raised our voices. That's fine. Ask my brother. That's normal for me and my family. No problem there. I didn't think that he was overly rude to me, and behind the scenes, he was nothing but respectful to me. But yeah, I think Destiny's strong suit as a debater comes in being having indignation, right? So if you say something that he thinks is immoral or stupid, then like all of a sudden just like attacking you like that. Notice in my 2 debates I had with him, that never came up because I didn't say anything that was that stupid. But yeah, the constant quoting of the mainstream media. So let's talk about that in the debate I had the other night. So if you watch that debate, it's 4 hours. In reality, it's only 2.5 hours. And then the last hour and a half is just me kind of summarizing the debate by myself. What did I want to get out of that debate? Because it was clear to me, it's almost impossible to change someone's mind, particularly on a subject like the Russia collusion hoax. So all I wanted, at the bare minimum, was this. I wanted them to admit that Russia interference was a serious thing, which is funny because they think that's an argument for them. It's not, because then I wanted them to admit that we should investigate all instances of Russian interference, and then I wanted them to say, oh, but it's different when Hillary did it. And that's exactly what happened. Every single time. Oh, so failing to register as a foreign lobbyist is serious? Yes, it's serious. So you think it was worth them charging Paul Manafort? Yes, of course. Well, Mueller's report said Manafort worked with the Podesta group. That was Hillary's campaign manager. Are you okay with the fact that they didn't get charged? Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's different. That's different. You think it was bad for Trump Jr. to try to meet with a Russian to get dirt on Hillary in Trump Tower? Yeah, that was terrible. Needs investigated. But you're okay with Hillary's team paying a known Kremlin spy to get dirt on Donald Trump? Well, that was different. That's it. I just wanted you, the audience, to see that that's what happened. And the reason I bring this up right here is because someone said about only citing mainstream sources. There is this appeal to authority that I've been arguing, and it's ironic. So I entered college in 2003, and I was a journalism major. That's what I wanted to do originally. And most of my professors were left-wing. You could just tell, even if it didn't come up. But some of them were reasonable. And I remember, hey, thank you, OneWhoTubes, for the donation. He says, never stop being authentic. The beauty and purity of caring, sincere, loving, compassionate patriots impossible to successfully fake. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I really do feel that's my strongest suit. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I am who I am. You call me and you talk me on the phone. You know me in real life. This is who I am. There is not anyone that knows me in real life that would watch these videos and say, oh, Rob's putting on a character. Not happening. This is exactly who I am. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the donation. But so my professors back then, one of the things they talked about a lot was the idea of gatekeeping in journalism. And the idea was, these are left-wingers, mind you, and they would say, all of these media corporations, or all of our media is basically owned by 8 corporations. And this was before YouTube was big or anything like that. Facebook was just starting out. And so they would say, it's a shame that all of our flow of information is controlled by these few corporations, And they gatekeep basically all the information that you have access to. And they had a healthy criticism of authority. Now it's the exact opposite. Now the left wants independent voices censored. They want only those corporate voices or voices that agree with them to be broadcast. And they have this sort of appeal to authority that is unreal to me. So literally, we could see the authority figure. Like in that debate, for example, and I'm not going to rehash the entire debate, but I just want to point this out. In that debate, we had 2 positions my opponents were holding at the same time simultaneously. The first was begrudgingly, like pulling teeth, I got them to admit that it is the FBI's job to verify information before using it to spy on an American. That threshold should be higher if it's a presidential campaign to spy on it. And it should definitely be higher if the information you're using to spy is coming from someone that you believe is a Kremlin agent trying to harm U.S. national security. That's what we saw with the FISA application used to spy on Trump's campaign. And yet, the FBI didn't even attempt to verify it. So my opponents knew that, one of which is going to law school. You'd think he'd be appalled by that. But he wasn't. He was just like, well, it's a procedural error. So they admit that devastating error, in their opinion, that came from the FBI. But then every single time I'm like, can you show me evidence of this? You know what they would say? Well, we don't have the evidence. The FBI never showed us, but we agree. We believe them. They must be right. I mean, they're the FBI. They have to be right. Do you see how those two positions... Now, I didn't have enough time in the debate to flush this out, but the groundwork's laid that if you're watching at home, I don't have to tell you. How can you believe those two things simultaneously? Well, the FBI is always right, and we just have to believe what they say. So, if they say that Konstantin Klimnik, the guy that Paul Manafort shared polling data with, is a Kremlin agent, then he must be a Kremlin agent. Even if they never provided us proof. If they say that the Russian troll farm were Kremlin agents, then they must be Kremlin agents, even if we've never been provided any evidence. And that's why Drone Tech kept bringing up, like, what about things like the Iraq War? Isn't this the exact problem we had as Americans? We were like, oh, well, if the CIA and the FBI and the Republicans and Democrats are all saying we need to go to war in Iraq, then we must need to. And then later, when you find out it was a lie, it's like, oh, we won't let that happen again. And now we're right back to it. But you have to believe everything the intel agents say. No matter how many times in this saga we could prove they were wrong. They concede 17 errors and omissions. Well, but it wasn't bias, it was just incompetence. Okay, even if that's the case, then how do we know they're telling the truth about these Russian troll farms being Kremlin agents? Well, we just have to believe them. That must be what's in the redacted nature, the evidence of it. But yeah, so that's, I get, you know, and like, this appeal to authority is incredibly dangerous. Incredibly. Like, for example, I don't swear often on my videos. That is one thing. I probably swear more in real life than I do in my videos. But there's a reason for that, because having a conversation throwing out curse words isn't a big deal. But I would like to have a show where if your 10-year-old wants to watch the show, there's nothing going on here. You know what I mean? You don't know who's going to watch. So I try to keep it as open to as many people as possible. So I'm not like cursing and swearing. But one of the times that I've swore out of anger the most was the the idea that we have to trust the doctors when the same doctors that are telling us, are the medical professionals that say things like this. If you go to a Trump rally, you're a horrible person that's spreading COVID. But if you go to a Black Lives Matter rally, oh, no, they're not spreading COVID and it's perfectly reasonable. You just got affiliate. Congratulations. Christian Watkins, congratulations on Twitch. Just got affiliate. Fantastic. Good for you, man. I'm far, far from that. So, yeah, I'll talk about Cuomo going after the Jews. But let me play that video for you while I go grab a drink real quick. So I'll leave you with just a short video. This was inspired by Andrew Breitbart. And I will warn you that I do drop an F-bomb in this. So if that's something that upsets you, just turn the sound off until I come right back. Let me make sure that's...
I've had it. I've had it of being called a racist. I've had it of being told that I'm somehow inferior, that I'm less educated, that I'm somehow a 10-toothed rude, like Wilson said on CNN, that I'm a racist if I disagree with the disastrous positions of Black Lives Matter that would be bad not only for all Americans, but particularly for Black Americans. I'm tired of saying if I don't believe corporate-led revolutions that somehow that makes me an immoral person. I'm tired of people saying that I have to cower down and shut my mouth or I'll lose my job if I don't cow down to this mob. I'm tired of having to say, yeah, I hear you. Maybe there's a case for tearing down Confederate statues. I don't care. I don't have any love for Confederate statues. I don't care. But I'm not going to give in to the mob. I'm tired of it. It's worth fighting for its own sake. We're not going to listen to a bunch of people that hate this country and want to overthrow it and return us to segregation and want to make us a globalist, fascist, Marxist society. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of trying to calmly explain to people things like why toddlers shouldn't be able to vote and why you shouldn't be allowed to take people's property and we should have property rights. I'm tired of explaining to people why the police should arrest people that steal from stores, why they should arrest people that are skipping out on subway tolls. These are all conversations I've had this week. I'm tired. The people among us that know the least are the most arrogant and most confident that they know more than everyone else. I'm sick and tired of it. They don't live in the real world. They don't have real jobs. I had someone tell me about COVID. I said, how long do we have to get locked down in your world? They said, I live in Australia. The government just pays us. We could stay locked down indefinitely. I have to explain to you that if no one's working, let's just make it real simple. If no one's working on the farms, how's the government going to send you food? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being attacked. I'm tired of having been crushed in the culture war. I'm tired of Republican leaders that claim that they're defending us that aren't doing squat. I'm tired of on my radio show when I bring Republicans on, they say, yeah, we got to get back in the fight. And all they're doing is proposing legislation and filing court cases that they eventually lose. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people getting in touch with me saying that they're going to contact my employer and get me fired because I had the temerity to argue against Black Lives Matter. I'm sick and tired of having to pretend, oh, it's a noble thing. What they're doing out there is noble. It's not. They're terrorists. Does that mean everyone involved with them is? No. But if you're aligned with terrorists and you're marching with terrorists, then you're hurting this country. And I'm tired of pretending it's not the case. We have a nerve. We have backbones on here. Where's our leaders? I go in a panel, people say, can we just agree? I'm a conservative, but can we just agree if Trump would just wear a mask, then COVID would be solved? Really? So it's just about masks now. So we didn't need to lock down. Well, no, you still need the lockdown, but let's be honest, it's Republicans. Really? It wasn't Democrats. And they're experts that said it was okay to go out by the hundreds of thousands and protest for Black Lives Matter, shoulder to shoulder, while they're burning down buildings. Well, all the scientists say that those contact tracers proved that the Black Lives Matter protests didn't spread the virus. Fuck you! I'm tired of the... Ugh. Your experts are full of it, if that's what they're claiming. These two things can't be true. That if you're shoulder to shoulder and if you're in large crowds, you spread COVID, but not if you're protesting for Black Lives Matter. Either they were wrong originally or they're wrong now. And I'm tired of being treated because they have the experts. The experts say this. Then I'm done with the experts. I don't care. The same experts, 5,000 of them that signed on, that said science, technology, engineering, and math is racist. The same experts that are endorsing Black Lives Matter, that's against the values of the Enlightenment and doesn't believe there's a thing such as truth, that's been attacking all of our hard sciences and arts, those experts? I'm tired of it.
Okay, I'm back. Shut that big mouth up. Yes, Ecoms, you're right. I need to clean up. Totally true. I need to trim up. Totally get it. Also, you can see him balding at the top, so buzz cut looks better than this. But yeah, you're right. I'll get there, don't worry. I'm not personally selling insurance in people's houses so much yet. I just finished up my release call, but you're right. It's been tough with COVID. A lot of places have been backed up as far as haircut places, but yeah. Trump's on Rush. Yeah, I'll check that out later today. So yeah, I only have 15 minutes. Please remind me at 12:45 in the chat. If I do not leave my home at 12:45 to pick my wife up for lunch, you'll probably never see me again. So, yeah. So, all right, we want to talk. Let's real quick talk about what's happening with the Jewish community in New York. That's what people want to talk about. That's fine. So it's amazing to me how I never understood why we just assume people that are anti-Semitic are right-wing. First off, it doesn't matter if they are right-wing or not. I think that people use left and right-wing incorrectly anyways, most of the time, but even still. It seems like anytime there's something heinous that you could say is right-wing, then that gets attached to everyone who's right-wing. But anytime people on the left do something that's terrible, then it's only, well, just that group. They don't represent anyone on the left. And so it becomes awfully frustrating. So, for example, anti-Semitism. There was all these stories in New York City about the rise of anti-Semitic attacks in New York City after Trump got elected. Must be Trump supporters, right? And you heard about this for like a year. The attacks were going through the roof. Only now you don't hear about it. What happened? Did the anti-Semitic attacks decrease? No. They've continued. You know why you don't hear about them? Because they're not Trump supporters. They don't look like white rednecks doing it. No, instead it's like people from the Nation of Islam. You know, that Louis Farrakhan group, the black nationalists that hate white people and that are anti-Semites. You know, the same group that did the security for George Floyd's funeral that the media was in love with. You know, the same group that had a member, Jacob, I don't know if he was a member, but someone who parroted their rhetoric, Jacob Blake Sr., Kamala Harris personally met with and said she's, quote, proud of him. Yeah, those anti-Semites. Oh, well, so it doesn't matter to the left that Jews were being attacked. What matters is, was it Trump supporters doing it? Because if so, that's a horrible thing. But if it's the left doing it, well, that's no problem. No need to report on it. So we constantly hear how anti-Semitic Trump is. How? The Jewish people in Israel love Trump. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He's been a stauncher ally to them than almost any president in the past. Now, I'm not going to get into whether I think that the politics of Israel's government is always correct. I don't. I've criticized Israel. I also criticized their lobbying efforts in the United States. But just on this topic as a factual matter, if Trump's an anti-Semite, he's a damn bad one, because he's done more for Israel than almost any president before him in modern history. Let's go back to the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, which is close to where I live. Yes, it seems like an anti-Semite that did that, a disgusting person. However, this was blamed on Trump, and this person put on his social media accounts how hateful he was of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump sold out white people, because he favored Israel and he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. So how is it Trump's fault that somebody who hated him shot a synagogue up? But somehow Trump got blamed for that. Now, let's go to yesterday. Apparently, there was a plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, the Democratic governor, who's horrible, by the way, of Michigan. This was blamed. Whitmer herself went on TV and said she blamed Trump for this. Oh, when Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, that inspired this. Only problem is, this was occurring long before. The plans for this kidnapping were long before Trump made that comment. And how exactly is telling a multiracial group that has nothing to do with kidnapping people stand back and stand down, or stand back and stand by, which is his way of saying, don't go out there and clash with Antifa, don't go out and clash with the police. How is that inspiring someone to kidnap a governor? But that's what Whitmer said. Now we know. You know what those people were? You ready for this? Did you see the videos of them? Anarchist. And at least one of them is on video saying how much he hates Trump and Trump is a tyrant. Yet, they're blaming Trump for this. Now, 2 weeks ago, a left-winger armed to the teeth sent Trump ricin in the mail, trying to poison him. Did the media say, oh, well, that's the Democrat, that's Nancy Pelosi's fault. That's Maxine Waters' fault. Is that what the media said? So now, we get to this situation. Trump's a rabid anti-Semite. Oh, he hates the Jewish people. Let's look at what's happening right now in New York City with the Jewish community there. First off, I tip my cap to them for actually coming together as a community and saying, we're not going to take these violations of our rights that are selectively applied for political reasons that the governorship and the mayorship of New York is offering us. Good for them. True Americans, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm not making any advocacy on what social distancing you should do, whether or not you should wear masks. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it is clear that the application of these rules and orders are being selectively applied. And so, if we saw the exact same amount of people that we saw with these videos, with the Jewish community, shoulder to shoulder, that de Blasio saying that the cops are going to crack down on. If instead, it was a bunch of people smashing windows in the name of Black Lives Matter, de Blasio wouldn't have said a word. So we literally have the mayor of New York City selectively targeting Jewish people, threatening to close down their churches for doing the same thing that de Blasio's political allies in Black Lives Matter are doing. It would be one thing if de Blasio had cracked down on the Black Lives Matter protests and then said, look, I cracked down on those protests, so no, I'm not going to leave Jewish people do this. That would at least make more sense. But I have no choice but to believe that de Blasio is either an anti-Semite or more likely is anti-religious. Because to the establishment left, religion is one of the big things they need to attack. Because they want no God above the government. That's the idea. They want to crush the working class and the middle class to make you totally dependent on the government. That's the idea. Then they can usher in their globalist paradise. Their utopia would be this. It's a new feudalism. You're the serf that lives around the castle. They, just like San Francisco, that's their dream. They all live in mansions like Zuckerberg, surrounded by gates and guards, while everyone goes to the bathroom in the streets and shoots up with hypodermic needles in the streets and is in constant poverty. Sure, they'll throw you bread in circuses, of course. They'll take care of you, as long as you don't criticize them. All you have to do is worship them, and they'll take care of you. You can't have no God above them, though. And so they have to take out things like pride in nation, pride in God, or faith in God. That's why they'll selectively attack these churches. That's why in Nevada, you could go to the casino. 50 of you and your buddies could go to the casino, no problem. But if those same 50 of you want to go to church, then all of a sudden it's a huge problem. Now, I'm not someone who is talks about religion a lot in my channel. People that watch me a lot can see that. But even I can see the writing on the wall of what this is. Yeah, 5 minutes. I got you. But I just think it's funny. If Donald Trump had done this, like imagine that the reverse, right? Imagine that Trump was mayor or something or president and there was a disease and Trump said, oh, the Tea Party could go out shoulder to shoulder. Hundreds of thousands of Tea Party people. No problem. No problem. Yep, no problem. But we're not going to allow Muslims to gather. We're going to crack down on the Muslim community going to church. How do you think that would have played? Or heck, let's not even say Muslim. Let's say he would have did it with synagogues. We're going to crack down on these synagogues. How do you think that would have played? You think they would have said, oh, Trump's not an anti-Semite. That's a very reasonable position. Yes, of course, the Tea Party, they have a good cause. But I could see cracking down on the synagogues. You think that's the way the media would play this? They would be screaming, see, we told you Trump's a Nazi. Here it is. Here comes the Nazi. We knew Trump was a Nazi. He's literally Hitler. The people that are supporting cracking down on Jews are calling their opponents Nazis. Yeah, I hear you, Double Deuce. But they'll blame Trump. I mean, it's incredible. It's just incredible. The big thing that I want to talk about here that I didn't get to was the 25th Amendment thing. So I got to leave here in a couple minutes. But, we saw that Joe Biden yesterday, just like Kamala Harris, said he's not going to tell you if they'll pack the Supreme Court. This is insane. Why would you believe anything they say? They're literally saying, we're not going to tell you if we're going to destroy one of the branches of government or not until after you elect us. If we had any sort of mainstream media, they would be like, wait, what? How could you say that? But they won't, because they're not media, they're not journalists, they're propagandists for Joe Biden and the establishment Democratic Party. Now Nancy Pelosi is saying that they're going to vote to invoke the 25th Amendment to basically remove Trump from office or remove his power. Why? Because he told people not to be dominated by the coronavirus. If this flies, one, this will set the precedent anytime that a president disagrees with Congress on policy, they'll just say, oh, he disagrees with us because he's insane, therefore impeach him. Get rid of him. And second, my advice is, if she goes through with this, every Republican in Congress should immediately start citing the CDC director that says that school lockdowns are killing more kids than COVID, and then impeach every single Democrat that embraces school lockdowns. And say, you would have to be insane to intentionally kill children. That's what the CDC director said you're doing. And then I guess we'll just have a big brouhaha where we can talk about how the other side are evil murderers. Sound good? All right, I got to go. You're right, everyone. So I might be on later tonight. Probably not. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, I have my radio show. So you can find it right on here. I got two great guests, Todd and Carlos. Our co-host, Todd and Carlos. So check that out. So 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, right wherever you're watching, you'll be able to see me. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Gotta go before my wife kills me. Have a good one.